So, hallo, beginnen wir direkt. Hier läuft gerade noch was ganz anderes, und zwar mit dem Ian McDermott. Das ist der... ich muss es hier mal höher stellen. Das ist der Darsteller von dem Imperator, beziehungsweise die Stimme. Also eigentlich auch der Darsteller, von daher gar nicht mal so uninteressant vielleicht. Aber nun ja, wir sind ja eigentlich eher da für Resistance, deswegen, das wird dann danach wahrscheinlich kommen. Ist ja nur noch 3 Minuten hin so. Und dann gucken wir mal, was da so gezeigt wird. Ich weiß es gar nicht genau, ich finde das schwierig einzuschätzen, wie viele Leute von euch denn überhaupt Resistance geschaut haben. Und ich merke gerade, ich muss natürlich das Overlay wieder in den Hintergrund packen, deswegen legen wir das mal so. So, Donation Tracker geht auch aus, das heißt, man hört jetzt Execute Order 66, genau. Deswegen, man hört jetzt gerade momentan keine Spenden und so weiter, deswegen bitte diesmal nicht spenden, das wäre ganz gut, danke sehr. Wie waren die letzten 2 Folgen für dich? Ey, richtig cool. Ich habe ja wirklich, Chian, ich liebe ja diesen Moment, wo hier General Hux die Rede hält. Ich liebe das. Fand ich cool.
I know, it's great. And who would ever have thought it? When we filmed that scene, Christopher Lee, Hayden, Christensen.
Na gut, der erzählt was von vergangenen Tagen. Ich habe noch nie Resistance geschaut. Also ich kann persönlich Resistance tatsächlich empfehlen. Mir gefällt die Show an sich. Ja, muss man halt mal gucken, ne? Schaut euch wenigstens die ersten paar Folgen an, dann kann man ja immer noch sagen, ach nee, ist nicht. Hallo Put. Ich finde die Szene auch mega cool. Achian, ich fand es auch super interessant, dass er tatsächlich, ich habe mich gerade die ganze Zeit gefragt, wagen sie diesen Schritt, dass sie, ich will jetzt nicht ein bisschen spoilern, deswegen, ich sage jetzt mal, diesen einen Charakter die Entscheidung treffen lassen, oder kehrt er dann doch wirklich zurück zu dem Leuten, so nenne ich das mal, weil das wird gleich wahrscheinlich wieder geändert werden. Ich kenne den Fehler ja irgendwo. Und ich fand es gut, dass sie die Entscheidung gemacht haben, dass die Person die Gruppe verlässt, sage ich jetzt mal. Fand ich richtig, richtig cool. Ich hatte schon befürchtet, so von wegen, ah nee, das wird dann so ein Friede, Freude, Eierkuchen-Ding. Und, naja. Notre Dame brennt, habe ich nicht mitbekommen. Hoffentlich kriegen sie es gelöscht. Relativ schnell. Ich kenne es überhaupt nicht. Also ich kann es eigentlich nur empfehlen. Wie gesagt, hallo Herr von Backfisch. Das ist halt die neue Animationsserie. Ich kann ja mal gucken, ob ich hier irgendwie direkt einen Trailer hinbekomme, noch zu zeigen vorher. Das war so traurig, aber es war irgendwie auch cool. Ja, ich finde das immer cool, wenn solche Entscheidungen dann auch konsequent durchgezogen werden und nicht dann irgendwie, also ich mag das ja, wenn es auch mal so ein bisschen trauriger oder böse endet oder sowas, oder halt so ein Staffelfinale immer super spannend ist oder so. Ich finde das super gut. Deswegen fand ich das schon cool. So. Star Wars Resistance Trailer. Da wird es da irgendwas geben zu. Mid-Season Trailer zeigen wir lieber nicht. First Look Trailer. Kann man den nicht auf Deutsch? Das gibt es doch safe auf Deutsch. Ich interessiere mich zwar nicht für Resistance, aber ich gucke gerne deine Streams. Ja gut. Da gibt es echt keinen deutschen Trailer. Hallo Faulchen. Das Trailer Deutsch. Hallo Thomas. Hallo Fabian Sauron. Na Fabian, hast du die Episode 1 Feier da angeschaut? Es gibt da echt nur den englischen Trailer, ne? Das ist ja echt krass. Es gibt da keinen deutschen Trailer. Ja gut, jetzt müssen wir mal ganz kurz hier. Ne? So. Also für die Leute, die keine Ahnung haben, was da jetzt überhaupt gezeigt wird, das ist die zweite Staffel dann von dieser Serie. Ich weiß, da sagen jetzt wieder viele Leute, ach, der Zeichentrick-Stil und das ist so kindisch und bla 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 bla. Ich finde es nicht so schlimm. Also an den Zeichenstil gewöhnt man sich sehr, sehr schnell. Dass es kindisch ist, ja, das ist, kann man sagen. Aber ich finde es jetzt nicht so extrem, dass man dann irgendwie die ganze Zeit nur sagen würde, ach, das ist ja hier, weiß ich nicht, nur für kleine Kinder oder sowas. Und man hat da keine Unterhaltung drin. Ich finde das schon unterhaltsam, das ist ja das Wichtige. War ganz cool, die Episode 1 Veranstaltung, na denn? Hallo Leute, Fragezeichen, Fragezeichen, Fragezeichen. Na gut, das wäre das. Ups. So, und jetzt gucken wir den Imperator weiter an. Hey. Tante Sie fand ich auch immer recht lustig, ja? Die ist schon, das ist schon coole, interessante Charaktere. So, ich muss das Ganze hier mal so ein bisschen lauter wieder stellen für euch. Ja, jetzt kann ich es auf jeden Fall sehr laut stellen, wenn ich denn möchte. Was war eine Episode 1 Veranstaltung? Von 18 bis 19 Uhr war da so eine 20-jährige Jubiläumsfeier, Celebration, was auch immer, bei der Star Wars Celebration, wo die dann halt, ich weiß gar nicht genau, vielleicht kann Fabian ja was erzählen. Ich glaube, da waren halt so ein paar Actor und wahrscheinlich halt Mitwirkende damals irgendwie auf der Bühne und dann haben die da halt ein Anniversary gefeiert. Ich habe mir das noch nicht angeschaut. Ich habe eben so ein bisschen bei Instagram mit einem ja immer sowas vorgeschlagen. Da habe ich ein bisschen was dazu gesehen, aber mehr auch nicht. Ich werde mir das im Nachhinein einfach mal ein bisschen durchskippen und dann schaue ich mir die interessanten Szenen vielleicht an. Ich habe schon den ganzen Tag Star Wars gesehen. Nice, Necrotic. Was waren dabei? Ja? Was hast du denn so alles angeschaut?
An apparently straightforward politician and this evil monster who'd been working in the background for so many years.
Der gute Imperator. Komm, solange der noch da ist. Wir können ihn ja im Hintergrund so laufen lassen. Aber ich habe Lust zu malen. Ich habe Lust zu malen. Wir machen das natürlich irgendwie so, dass man ihn noch sieht. Ja, hier ist das schon in Ordnung. Ja, ich muss mir nur einen Charakter aussuchen, aber wen?
And I love those secrets, though. And the thing about, we all love secrets too. We're always trying to find out, you know, what's behind them and so on. But we love the mystery, and we love the great moments of revelation. And people seem to think we had one the other morning. You know?
I think we did.
Da Vinci, ja, sowas von.
The headline of that whole that whole panel, and indeed the trailer, is the word tease. So don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Well, have a laugh about it.
Well, we are very excited to see exactly what we are being teased about and maybe what is coming up in the future. And of course, we are always excited to have you by our stage. Ian McDiarmid.
Also, wenn das jetzt nicht... Hat er hier noch so zwei Nasenlöcher?
We have much more from Star Wars Celebration. Keep it locked here because the Star Wars Show live.
Also, ich bitte euch. Der beste Java der Galaxis. Da hat er hier noch irgendwie so grüne Farbe oben. Ja. Ein Meisterwerk. Also, wenn das nicht der beste Java ist, den ihr je gesehen habt, dann wüsste ich auch nicht.
One of the most trashiest costumes I've seen in a long time. I'm actually standing with
Gina.
It's Gina.
So, noch die Lache dazu.
Gina, you are
perfekt.
The
Sinera war auch cool mit ihrem Zwiespalt. Also ich fand die Serie echt überraschend gut, Gian. Ich war ja auch vorher so ein bisschen... Mal ein bisschen leiser. Ich war ja vorher auch so ein bisschen, ja, gespalten. Von wegen der Grafikstil sah jetzt nicht so toll aus und so. Da gewöhnt man sich, wie gesagt, unfassbar schnell dran. Und von daher, ich fand das super. Neues Steam-Spiel von Tombie. Gute alte Zeichnen. Kann ich hier irgendwie direkt alles wegmachen? Ja. Okay, der nächste, liebe Leute. Wer wird das? Muss ich mir erstmal wieder einen ausdenken. Den. Es wird ja immer schwieriger. So. Geht dann irgendwie so da runter. Das ist kein Braun mehr, das ist schon rot. Das soll eigentlich noch braun sein. Irgendwie die Farbe ändern. Ein ganz dunkles Braun brauche ich, ja, hier.
Walking around the convention floor and you want to find something truly trashy, check out Gina. She will not be offended. I'm Jordan. Stick around. There is more of the Star Wars show live from Celebration coming right up.
Perfekt. Ah, wieder perfekt.
Season 1 finale of Star Wars Resistance, we found out the Colossus was a ship this entire time, and you probably have lots of questions.
Na gut, er bestellt wieder hin seine Fragen.
Resistance are here to answer a few of them because the Star Wars Resistance Season 2 panel starts right now.
Also, ich weiß ja nicht, was ihr sagt. Aber habt ihr schon mal so einen guten Ewok gesehen? Also ich glaube ja nicht. So, damit geht's auch schon los hier anscheinend.
Star Wars Celebration, how you feeling? We are here to talk about Star Wars Resistance. Give it up for Star Wars Resistance. How many of you have seen every episode, I hope? Every hand goes, that's right. That's right. Well, of course, we are going to talk with not just the creators, but also the voice cast of Star Wars Resistance right here in the Galaxy stage right now. You excited? Well, we're going to talk about Season 1, and I promise you I'm going to try and get as much information about Season 2 out of them as I possibly can. You guys excited for Season 2? Me too, me too. I know this show so well. I know every frame. I'm in love with it. I'm so passionate about it. I'm sure you guys are as well. Let's not waste any more time. Let's bring out the creators and cast of Star Wars Resistance.
Boah, coole Musik dazu, ey. Da würde ich auch einlaufen. Stell mal vor, ihr könntet eure Musik für den Einlauf bestimmen. Welche wäre das? Ah, der Imperial March wäre natürlich auch cool, ne? Sieht aus wie Tora. Ist doch bestimmt so eine Tora-Stimme.
Yeah! Wow, look at you! Woo!
Yeah! What up? What's up, everybody?
Beast! Gorg!
Der Cantina-Song, ja auch nicht schlecht. Dann nehmen sie dich aber nicht ernst.
I want to run out there. I want to run out there.
You want to run out there?
I want to run out there.
Crowd tap! What's going on?
He's doing it. He's going.
Bobby's coming down the aisle. Watch the Gorgs. He might take it.
Tuck and roll, baby.
Safe.
Donald Hype Faison, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi,
Yeah.
Hallo, Shirin.
Yeah.
Bobby Moynihan.
Hey.
Bobby Orca Moynihan's here, too.
What up?
And this is the whole panel, so just be prepared for this. Thank you and good night. Now, why don't we have a seat? Why don't we take the moment to introduce ourselves? Bobby, you okay? You all right?
Nice.
All right. What's the pose?
Take your time.
I'm good.
You know what? I'll start on this end. Why don't we start here? We're going to have everyone just introduce themselves, even though I'm sure you know them already. Why don't we start with you, Justin?
First off, Hype Faison and Orca, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
We're excited. It's not every day you get to be in a Star Wars.
I love these guys. I'm Justin Ridge, supervising. Thank you. Supervising director and executive producer on Star Wars Resistance.
Hello, everyone. I'm Athena Portillo, one of the executive producers of Star Wars Resistance.
Girl power!
It looks like we have some Star Wars fans here. This is pretty impressive. I'm Brandon Allman, the head writer, executive producer.
Hey guys, I'm Christopher Sean, and I play Kaz. Kazuda Tiono. Thank you.
Also das ist der Sprecher der Hauptfigur.
Hello, everybody. I'm Susie McGraw, and I play Tam Mavora.
Hey, I am Scott Lawrence. I play Jarek Yeager. So great to be here. Thanks for coming out. All right.
Hi, I'm Myrna Velasco and I play Torredosa.
Die ist aber echt genauso aufgedreht wie ihre Figur, ey.
Do this.
Hi. I'm Donald Faison and I play Hype Faison. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bobby Moynihan. I play Orca, and I broke both my legs jumping off this stage.
It was worth it.
Yeah,
it was totally worth it.
Definitely worth it to be here.
Well, I want to take us back to the very beginning of season 1 and even before when you're creating the show, and this is a question for the three of you. Take us back to really coming up with the story and the idea of Star Wars Resistance before we even saw an episode.
Sure, yeah. So this was actually an idea that Dave Filoni had a while back. You've heard of him, okay. And he had this idea percolating about what was happening before we see the events of The Force Awakens. And one day in his office, he called me in. He's like, Padawan, come over here.
He called you Padawan?
He's called me Padawan for a while.
That's okay.
And so I go into his office, and he shows me this early concept art for Resistance. And it was some early drawings that ABC, our art director on the show.
Amy Beth Christensen.
She's incredible. And some concept art from PPI, who is one of the studios we work with to animate the show. And he's like, what do you think of this? I'm like, that looks amazing. And he's like, okay. And then I leave. And later on, he calls me and he's like, hey, how would you like to show run this show? And I was beyond honored, you know, that he was trusting me basically with the keys to this new car. Like, okay, here you go. Don't crash it, you know, have fun. And I was just beyond honored for that.
Now, the look of the show is so unique and so amazing. Like, such a cool addition, so vibrant. How did the look of the show evolve into this incredibly cool-looking show?
Early on, we wanted to make sure it had an anime influence. You know, we're big fans of Miyazaki and Robotech and, you know, all Macross. Really amazing stuff. So we wanted to infuse that into the Star Wars universe, but still have it feel like Star Wars. So, you know, our design team, led by ABC, they did an incredible job in giving it a history and a richness and just really making it feel different, but also feel like Star Wars. You know, when you look at the ships and the corridors and the crates, because Star Wars loves crates, you know, it all feels like it's unified.
And what about the story, Brandon? Now, talk about breaking the story for season 1. Where do you start when you're charged with making a story about the sequel trilogy and the First Order? And how did you end up on the Colossus?
Well, it was very intimidating. We broke the first set of stories at Skywalker Ranch, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. So we got together with a bunch of writers and Justin and Athena, and we just started talking about, like, what would it be like, you know, like 6 months to a year before The Force Awakens? What would happen? Like, what is the state of the galaxy? What's going on? You know, it's kind of a time of peace, but it's also, there's some things boiling, right, under the surface. The First Order is starting to rise. And, you know, so we talked about, like, Poe and the different characters that we want to bring in, Leia, obviously, and we really just it just sort of spun from there. Like, we just decided, like, you know, Kaz, you know, from the beginning, like Kaz, we kind of want him to be sort of a bit like a bird, right? Like in the air, he's fantastic. He's amazing. But on the ground, he's a little clumsy. He's a little bit like, you know, not quite with it. But you know, Kaz is really kind of like the heart of the show. Oh.
He's right there. He can hear you, Brandon.
I'm sorry. You know I love you, Christopher Sean. But yeah, that was really sort of the genesis of like how we kind of got it together, all under, obviously, the guidance of Dave Filoni.
Yeah. And Athena, I want to ask you, first of all, describe your role on the show and talk about putting this amazing team and cast together.
Well, what's great is we had the opportunity to work with all the supervisors that we've had since Clone Wars and Rebels. So Joel Aaron, CG supervisor, visual effects supervisor, Keith Kellogg, our animation supervisor, Paul Zinnis, our asset supervisor, and of course, Amy Beth Christensen, our art director. And we're very lucky. And it's interesting hearing what you're saying right now because all I keep thinking about are dates. I'm all about dates. And I'm like, that's correct. 2015 is when Amy started doing the first character designs for the show. 2016 is when we had our first writers conference and when our first scripts were being produced. 2017 is when the cast was selected and we started having our first record sessions. 2018 is when we aired, and here we are in 2019. It's just incredible.
Amazing. What an incredible journey. Speaking of cast, Christopher, tell us about playing Kaz, the hero of Star Wars Resistance. Obviously, an incredible character filled with so much comedy, so much incredible vocal performance, but also a really, really clever problem solver and an incredible pilot.
Well, thank you for all that. I think I actually saw Kaz here somewhere. I was at
Where's
cosplay.
Kaz?
I saw he was phenomenal. That's what I can say.
Where's Kaz? Where is he? Stand up. There he is.
There he is right there. There's Kaz.
Do the face.
Do the face. That's my action figure. That's so interesting.
Do the face.
Please do the face.
Do the face.
Right there. No, right there.
Cow.
That's great.
Yeah, man, thank you for that. But I said, you know what? Kaz wouldn't be Kaz without the team. Everyone here, like, you know, you can say that he's the hero of the show, but everyone here, they're all the heroes, except for Tam. But everyone here, wait, what?
Shots fired.
No.
Behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, you know, it's the banter, all right?
Oh yeah. Actually, I love playing Kaz. He's so much fun. He's so real, and he's someone everyone can relate to, and. I mean, just to watch him be this bumbling, spastic young fellow to someone who's found his ground and who's standing for something and fighting for something, and he's not afraid anymore to give up his own life for others. And I think that's something that we all kind of strive to get to a point in our lives where we love ourselves enough to love others. And when you love yourself, that's the only time you can truly love others. But yeah, I'm just really, really honored and excited to be a part of the Star Wars show. And I think I'm rambling at this point.
No, it's great. How did you...
Sorry, and thank you.
Christopher Sean, ladies and gentlemen. How did you strike that balance of heroism and comedy? Was that something that just came naturally to you on the first day? Was it a big point of conversation with the writers? How did that go?
You know, when I was at the audition, Justin and Brandon both came into the room and were kind of like, "This is the character we would like to see. This is kind of our ideas. What do you think?" And I was like, "I think I have an idea of what you guys want, but let's just try it." And then we got in there and we started having fun, and I could kind of see their heads doing this in the back, and I was like, I think I'm doing good. I think this is good. I think this is working. So yeah, and from there we just kept working together. And don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of guidance from Justin, Athena, and Brandon. Also, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. She is phenomenal.
The voice director and also the voice of Forky
and Freya Fenris.
Freya, one of our ace pilots, yes.
And she orchestrates so well. I'll be working in the booth, and I see her going like, bring it up more or down. And you know, I'm like, yeah, okay, oh, and back. So I just let her conduct me, and she's phenomenal.
Yeah, give it up for Mary Elizabeth and Christopher Sean. Susie.
Hello.
Let's talk Tamra Vora. What was it like voicing this role in season 1?
Well, it's a dream come true, and she has such a feisty, dry kind of sense of humor, and the way that she kind of kind of plays with Kaz was so much fun to play anyway. So, and just watching her emotionally grow and get to tell her story, and yeah, it's mind-blowing, right?
I'm gonna ask just a complete fan question, which is totally off script, which is, what's up with you and Hype? Like, is there a... Woo! What's going on?
That's what I'd like to know too, Donald.
It's complicated, you know? I don't know what's up with Tam.
Have you heard of the term ghosted, you know?
They used to be friends, and, you know, maybe Tam crossed the line, perhaps. I don't know.
Oh, Tam crossed the line. Oh,
wow,
I see.
Get back in your ship and fly away, Hype.
No, I think they were friends, and, you know, Tam, I believe, is a pretty good pilot herself.
And a very loyal person.
And a very loyal person. And I think when Hype found out he could advance his career, he forgot about Tam.
Yeah, yeah.
Aww.
Never forget who your friends are. Rule number 1.
Tamravora, everybody.
Unless they stab you in the back, and then you forget about them.
Hate to have a domestic on stage here in front of you all. Love you too, guys. Love you too.
Scott Lawrence as Yeager.
Hey.
Jarek Yeager. Now, this is the funny thing before we talk about Yeager. I actually met you years ago when you were voicing Darth Vader, I think on the original Battlefront 2 in 2005.
The early game, Battlefront, TIE Fighter, and Rebel Assault, those I was Darth Vader.
Can you give us a little Vader right now?
The Force is strong with this one.
Whoa.
God.
Whoa.
But you are not a Jedi yet, young Skywalker.
Das ist gar nicht so schlecht dann, ne?
Can you do my voicemail backstage?
Better in the booth.
That gave me chills.
Why is nobody calling me anymore? Yeah, I'm so scared. So let's talk about Jarek Yeager. He has this incredible backstory. He's got this, challenging relationship with his brother in that wonderful episode with Marcus Speedstar.
He's gotten quite a complex story, and I've been so grateful to have all this great backstory come in and love stuff to play. I mean, I really want to thank you guys. When I first got on the show, I said, I'm going to end up the old grumpy guy on the show, and nobody will be able to relate to my character. And I've heard such wonderful things online from the response, and the love for Yeager has come out, and thank you guys. That's really great. Yeah. And he looks so cool. Look at that.
Well, this is what I was going to ask you. You were so, not reserved, but certainly full of conflict about your past versus sort of hiding in this garage until you started kicking some major behind.
I enjoyed the behind kicking.
What did that?
Once we got, give me a blaster. I'm good to go now. Yeah.
When you first saw that in the script, what was your reaction?
Fun. Yeah. I wanted to be in the mix. Everybody wants to get in there and go pew, 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 pew. So I got some pew pews in going now. And kind of being the glue behind it to the family is really an honor. And everybody says you're the fatherish figure. And I really enjoyed being Jarek Yeager. And I wish I could be as cool and good looking as he is. So that's all I go for every time, is just trying to get.
You're a very handsome man, Scott Lawrence.
That Jarek Yeager swag.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Tora Doza.
Hi.
What an incredible character. Such an incredible pilot, but what a fun personality, too. Tell us about what you feel strongest about in Tora Doza that really drew you to that character.
Oh, man. First and foremost, like, how many women pilot can you count before a reboot? Just asking. And I'm so honored to... So, like, long story short, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be in the Air Force. And it's not going to happen because I have a problem with rules. But being Tora Doza is, like, I want to go to space all the time. I want to fly all the time. And she gets to say all of the things I'm too nervous to say all of the time. And I'm just so honored to get to play this cool chick that knows her stuff and cares about her friends and wants her friends. And like that, I totally get that. Like, I always saw Tora as like, everybody's like, yeah, she's really good at stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but like, that's because she doesn't have anybody to hang out with. Like, she better be good at stuff. Like, but, yeah, and like being able to find that journey with her, to like find her friends and show how loyal and how loving and how smart she is for other people as well, was just such an honor. And thank you for trusting me with her, like, seriously.
Myrna really is Tora.
Tora rocks.
They're actually the same person.
There are a ton of similarities, yeah.
We just motion capture her and that's it. Like, she is Tora.
So I want to ask you, obviously you have such a great relationship with everyone on the Colossus, but you have this incredible relationship with Captain Doza, Tora's father. Can you talk about the relationship, the father-daughter relationship there, and what it was like bringing that to the screen?
Jason Hightower, yeah, thank you. I'm so bad at names, guys. Jason Hightower, who plays Captain Doza, is also part Mexican American. So raza. Anyway, but so we were able to just fuse with like mija, apa, ¿cómo estás? Like we speak Spanish to each other all the time, and like being able to have that pre-record made our love for each other like so obvious, and it just felt so right to just be like, this is how we are family, and being able to express that in animation is like mind-blowing to me, and I'm so, yeah.
And if only you guys could see them in person, Jason is the class clown, like the complete opposite of Captain Doza. And just see them interact is amazing. It's so much fun.
Wait, that's shocking, because he's so stoic and like stern on the
with
show.
gravitas.
He's a goofball.
Gravitas. But you guys goof off quite a bit?
Yeah, oh yeah. He's the one that we're like, Jason, it's your line. Jason! Like, he's so hilarious, and he came in and was like, I am your papa. And I was like, let's do this, yeah.
Awesome. Donald Faison.
What's happening?
Man. Hype is such a cool character. First of all, how does it feel to have a character named after you, Hype Faison?
It's amazing. I mean, this is what I've wanted my whole life. I became an actor because I wanted to be in Star Wars. You know, I wanted to fly the Millennium Falcon, you know what I mean? And, you know, we're not doing that anytime soon. NASA's nowhere near there, so the best way to do it is through fantasy, and here's Hype Faison.
What was your reaction the first time you saw this pilot episode and you saw Hype basically just winning these races like this? What was your reaction to seeing the show for the first time?
You know, it's great to be a winner one time. You know what I mean? But consistency is important. And I feel like Hype is very consistent with his winning. He's one of the best pilots in the galaxy. That's what it is. You laugh, it's true.
It's true. And
you clown, but that's one of the best pilots in the Star Wars universe.
Boom.
That is true.
It's a lot of hype.
That's canon.
That's so funny. That's so funny. That sounds like ABC.
I'm not going to say much. I'm a guest star on the show, so I'm going to keep.
Myrna, is Tora just letting Hype win? Is that what you're getting at there?
Is she?
Look,
No, that's a no. That's a no. That's a no. Whenever somebody starts to stutter, see what had happened was, no.
Tora Doza has a lot of pressure dealing with all of the other ace
That's excuse, and that's a no.
asking her about
There's an
what's going on the platform.
And that's a no.
She's got to deal with
I think
all
you guys should
of the
lightsaber
ace
battle.
She's like the secretary.
This is what it's like up in the tower while they're eating snacks. And, you know, this is actually a deleted scene that they've just performed for you and seen.
They really are their characters. It's totally true.
Well, Filoni made it a point, you know, he's like, I want to make sure that when we design this character, it has to be voiced by Donald Faison. So it was Filoni's idea.
Yeah.
So
I'd say that's good casting. What about you?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Such a fun part of the show. How's your back after getting stepped on a few times by Aunt Z there towards the end?
I'm used to it. I eagle a lot of people, so it's all good.
Bobby
Y'all don't know what
Moynihan.
eagling is.
Bobby Moynihan.
Hi.
Bobby.
Hello. That's me.
As Orca, thank you so much for coming to Star Wars. How many of you, is this your first trip to Star Wars Celebration on the stage?
It's the best time I've had ever.
Orca, is it just a dream come true being in a Star Wars?
Yeah, that's my Star Wars character. I look at it every day and I smile. Yeah, it's the greatest. It's the greatest. If you get a chance to do it, you should. It's the best. Don't turn it down.
Life advice for sure. What's it like working in the studio? I have to tell you, you know, you and Flicks, Jim Rash, are so hilarious in the show.
Oh, look at them.
Oh, they're so cuddly in their box.
A happy little family.
What's it like on a record date working with Jim and bringing this to life? How much of it is scripted versus how much of it is just you guys going to town?
It's I would say mostly scripted, and then like right before the scene ends, that's a little improvised. Usually, it's always like they let us trail off on the end. But like, I have a very distinct memory of being extremely nervous for the audition and walking in and seeing Jim Rash and going like, oh my gosh, thank God, because I've met Jim briefly, but I also am just a huge fan. And like I hadn't seen him in a while, and we just hit it off like gangbusters. And I went like, oh God, I hope I get this, because that was so much fun, and like it just felt right. And ever since I've seen this little pig man, I've been in love. Oh, look at him.
Well, I have a couple questions for you. One is, you're a Shadra fan, Orca is.
Correct.
A Shadra fan.
Yeah, like Abe.
But you seem to have a penchant for puffer pig blue bacon.
Yeah.
Now, is that against some sort of natural Star Wars law that, you know?
I think you're being a little speciest. No, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think it might be different species, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I guess so. There.
He's a half. Well, he's a Shadra fan. He has like a pig nose, kind of.
It's more kind of like a bat. It's kind of got bat features.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. It's a bat. Thank you for that.
I'm pretty much sure he'll probably eat anything.
Yeah, if it's good bacon, it's good bacon.
Yeah,
know?
Exactly. My pockets are filled with bacon right now.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Bacon is bacon. I just had one other question, which is, does Orca have a drunk uncle? And if so,
it's Al at the bar. Yeah.
and what would he sound like if he had a drunk uncle?
When I was a kid, we didn't even have puffer bacon.
Now, you all do cast records together, right? Which means you record, if you haven't seen behind-the-scenes footage, they record all at the same time. How do you get through an episode? Because you must have so much fun. What are the cast records like? Anyone?
Honestly, there's so much fun, man. We get in the room and we're just laughing the entire time. Like Jason Hightower is just clowning around the entire time. We're doing the scene. We start improvising at the end, learning from these guys over here, the legends. And we start improv. We just have a great time as a team. We really are a family. And I think it portrays quite nicely for you guys. That's why I think you're all here, right?
And like, when you turn up to a recording session and you see people in the foyer and you're like, oh, this is going to be a good one. Like, you know, if you see Donald, you're like, oh, here we go, the energy, and it's like a party. It's like a party.
I give props to these three people up here. They, you know, it starts at the top. The energy and the vibration that they want in the room, and they've really, you know, taken their time and picked a bunch of crew, and we've all come together like a family just naturally because, you know, they are who they are, and
they're kind, and they're patient, they're encouraging,
they
give us space to really explore and be the best artists that we can be, and
yeah, we're just byproducts of these guys. All props to these guys.
Shucks, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting us in Star Wars.
Thank you. Well,
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. From day one, when we had the auditions and then the very first record, their chemistry was just unbelievable. Like, you guys are Team Fireball and the citizens of the Colossus, and it felt so real. And that's the thing that we love about all of you guys and the actors who aren't up here as well, is there is a genuine authenticity that, even though they're lighthearted moments, you know, and it can be a comedy, you know, when the stakes get high, there's emotion. You know, you guys play real characters, and we got that from the very beginning, which was awesome. So thank you guys. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like we didn't even have to cast them. Like, they just came together, and it was just perfect. Like, just the chemistry, like Justin was saying, it was just all there. And these guys are just absolutely incredible. They're just brilliant, all of them.
We are. It's great.
You're welcome.
It's true.
For the Love Fest, can I get a pic now of all of us? Thank you, that was for me.
Well, you know, I feel that this is true also with the team that makes this at Lucasfilm Animation. You know, there's just such an incredible positive vibe. You have so many veterans from Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars The Clone Wars, working on it. It just feels like such a good team. Anything you want to speak to there in terms of the team coming together and all of that Star Wars muscle that's in there?
I have a question for you, David Collins. Does everybody here know that David's actually on the show as our sound engineer?
Yeah! Sky Sound?
Skywalker Sound.
That's not where I was going with that question, but
So how is it for you? How do you like working on the show?
I'm your host. No, it was great. Yeah, I get to edit and mix the show at Skywalker Ranch, and it's a dream come true. Matthew Wood and David Acord are my supervising sound editors, and they're just the Star Wars experts, and it's been an amazing to be the sound editor on this show. And I know your voices so well. I know every frame of this show so well. It's been a huge part of my life since I started in, I think, January of 2018 and came back to Skywalker Sound after interning 20 years ago. So that was great. So no, it's wonderful. You guys just are amazing, and I love this show. And I give it everything I have, just like you do, and I'm so honored to be here with all of you.
You've done a fantastic job, so give it up for David.
Yeah.
Give it for David.
Way to go.
Thank you, David.
But enough about me. Let's talk about me. No. I want to ask you all what your favorite moments were from season 1. Do you have a favorite episode? Maybe something that surprised you, something that moved you, made you laugh. Anyone?
Sonara's score. I love delving deeper into Tam's story, and she made a friend, and Sonara's such an awesome character. So that for me was a big part of my journey anyway. So.
Well, I kind of want to piggyback on that. Like, so I wish I had written down like what episode it is. Kaz says Sonara's a dangerous woman, and it had me thinking like, no, we're all dangerous women on this show. And just like, I love every episode so much, and having that theme with us of being able to be complex characters and have secrets and have regrets and have loneliness. Like, yeah, they suck, but it's also so real, and to be able to portray that for everyone and so that we can all connect to it that's my favorite part.
I think my favorite episode, and it's sad to say, but like when Hosnian Prime was destroyed, and I'm so sorry. I don't mean to bring that up. I'm so sorry. But I mean, that episode for me, I just, man, it's so much feels. And I just really, just watching it, I got so immersed in it. Looked over, my son was like tearing up. I'm like, it's okay, bud, it's okay. I loved it though, it was great.
I loved being there for you.
I have to say your performance in that scene was really, really moving. How about Christopher Sean on that episode?
But Bobby Moynihan, huh? Hey!
I got to say, I loved when I read the script and the Colossus turned into a ship and took off. We get to go to space. Now it's Star Wars, baby. I was like, yeah. So, yeah.
I would have to say the scene where we find out Orca's a Jedi and he lights his lightsaber and he...
Dude.
Did that not air yet? Did that not air yet?
Season 2.
Did that not air yet?
Season 2.
No. Did that not air yet?
No,
oh, no.
You did that.
Did I say he fights Darth Vader? Oh, no.
Dude.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. My favorite part is all of it. And my favorite part really is the style. As a lifelong Star Wars fan, the style of this show is one of the coolest things ever. And the representation in this show is the greatest. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's an honor to be a part of it. It's the greatest.
Thank you.
Anytime hype Faison wins a race, woo! That's my favorite part.
I think one of my favorite parts also is anytime Donald came into the room, everyone was like, here we go. Man, he's so fun.
You did scream, believe the hype.
I did scream that, yes. Believe it.
One of my favorite episodes is the Bebo episode. Josh Brenner did a fantastic job as Niku.
Give it up for Niku.
Give it up to Niku.
Yeah.
I love food.
Paul Giacopo, who's also at ILM, he was one of the writers on the episode, and I love all the visuals of that as well. And we have Polygon and CGCG to thank for that. They're great collaborators with us.
That actually is my favorite episode. That's a great episode, actually.
Yeah.
I love the episode with Jarek and his brother. It was just such a meaningful episode. It was so emotional, and just seeing, like, Jarek getting together with his brother, his estranged brother, and them finally reconciling at the end. And it was just, you know, it had all the feels. That's one of my, I mean, I can't say that's my favorite, but it's definitely one of my favorites. I love them all. But it's, you know, Scott Lawrence is just a killer. Like, he's just, when he comes in the room, everybody treats him like he's Yeager. You know what I mean? Like, they all kind of, like, sort of defer to him. Like, they're all like, oh, Scott Lawrence is here. Okay, we have to, like, we have to get serious now.
It's great we get to do stories like that and bring some real emotion and real stories, real personal stories to this great action show. And
not to mention, your character was a bit of a mystery in terms of backstory. We just had a little tease. Until that episode, we learned so much about Yeager.
Exactly, exactly. He's been unfolding through the whole first season, and I've been learning about him and getting to play it. And I'm a huge fan of the show. Whenever it comes on, I'm watching. I'm the first one to watch the episode. It's time to watch the show. And it's a lot of fun for me, too, yeah.
You got to come over. I'll watch it with you anytime you want.
We're there. We're going to have a Skype watch next show.
Well, the whole cast will Skype it.
I would watch a Disney Plus show of all of you watching Resistance together. That would be...
That would be amazing.
I'm in.
That would be unbelievable.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I smell a live feed.
Love that.
Let's watch Resistance with Resistance.
Yeah.
Get on Twitter, people. Make it happen.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to say, what's Justin Ridge's favorite episode of the season? Because I don't even know. I don't know that. Like, what is your favorite
choose?
episode?
That's hard to do.
You can choose.
No. Well, you took mine. I was going to say Marcus Speedstar. But I love the finale personally because it's the culmination, you know, of all the season, and we get to see them, you know, actually lift up and out of Castellon, and they're on the run now, and that to me is just, it's so exciting, and I can't wait to see season 2. What happens?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that season finale and just getting to the back half of the season in general. Scott, you mentioned when the Colossus takes off and you realize it's got a hyperdrive and it's a ship. How many of you saw that coming? Some of you? No, you didn't.
You didn't know.
I know some people did.
Some of y'all are lying.
But tell us about, that was the intention from the beginning?
Yeah, we knew from the very beginning that the Colossus was a ship. It's been parked there for quite a long time, so, you know, once it gets up and running, you know, there's some issues with it. You know, it's not in the best of shape. But from the very beginning, we knew that we were going to end the season with the liftoff and you know, start the chase. Okay, Brandon didn't know, but...
And Christopher, you mentioned the scene where Hosnian Prime... This is why I asked everyone if you had seen every episode of Season 1, spoilers, what happened to Hosnian Prime. Let's talk about the First Order coming into the show and their increased presence. Yeah, it's some amazing performances in the First Order, by the way. The actors... oh, help me out here.
Liam,
who plays Commander
Liam
Pyre.
McIntyre. And the new character that showed up in 121.
Tierney?
Oh, yeah, Tierney.
Somali.
Like Somali.
Oh, Somali Montano, right?
Yeah, she's amazing.
Just incredible performances, but the tone of the show really went through a transformation as we went. Can we talk about what that was like for all of you as you start seeing the scripts get a little darker, then a little darker, then a little darker? What was that like?
From the mid-season, that's when it really got its footing and it became extremely compelling. Yeah, the stormtroopers, when they arrived, it was kind of like, oh, here we go. Here's conflict, here's drama, and it just got darker and darker, more dangerous. But it was fun, man. I'm always like, this is fun. Oh, that's fun. Oh, this is great. So all of it was just fun to watch. That's when Kaz had to grow up, I think. So I don't know. I mean. What else do you say to that? I mean,
you know, as a fan of the show and watching the show, you want to see something where you want to fall in love with the characters. And I think it was a great way to fall in love with the characters is to, you know, let's put them in the Colossus situation first before we introduce the Empire. You know what I mean? And so you love everybody, and then here comes the Empire, and you start people split up. You know what I mean? At the end of the season, Tam's out. You know what I mean? And I just think that's a testament to you guys and your great storytelling. It's important to fall in love with your main characters before, you know, you break them up.
I want to talk about how this affected the dynamic of Team Fireball. Let's talk about Team Fireball. First of all, specifically, what an incredible ensemble that was in Yeager's garage, right?
Yeah.
So fun, so funny, but it got so interesting. Can we talk about those conversations, you know, either from your perspective or from the writing perspective, when the First Order became a hot topic, especially between Tam and Kaz and Yeager?
As the show got to those points in the season, the conflict came, and all of a sudden it became, I felt like the show turned into, okay, we were on the, it started off with us as a group, and then it got Star Wars when we had something to fight with against. And we found out what the theme of the show, which was hope and something to fight for. And all of us became, we had to pull together, and we had a common foe that was present at that time. And the show took on the family had to come together, and that was really where it started really feeling like Star Wars to me.
Yeah. Sorry, no. I was just going to say, like, as the show really started to dial up the heat, the conflict started to really set in amongst the kind of Team Fireball family, especially for Tam, just as you start to discover, like, what's he doing and why is that happening and why is the Fireball coming back with, like, scorch marks all over it and why is he not saying anything? And I think just that the tension really does start to build, and I think that carries us through to the end of the season for our little family unit.
and also, it's like, you know, Jedi and the Empire, all that's so legend and myth almost. Most people don't really know too much about the rebels, or the resistance, excuse me. It's kind of like only heard in hearsay. You know, are they really real? Are they not? So in a peaceful time, and when resistance is said, no one's really aware of war and what it means outside of Jarek Yeager maybe, and maybe a couple of the pilots, but like Griff. But outside of that, you know, we're sitting here thinking, no, these guys are they're offering help and security against those pirates, even though they're the ones planning and plotting the pirates to attack. We don't know that. You know, we're young, and so as everyone here is, we're growing with the characters as they're learning more and more about who the First Order is and who the Resistance are, and then we're making choices of which side we're gonna take, and we both have valid points.
Yeah, it was important for us for the show to be a slice of life in a different part of the galaxy. You know, we don't have Jedi. You know, we don't really deal with the Force. This isn't part of the Skywalker saga. You know, this is the working class, you know, pilots, Imperial, just a bunch of this motley crew in the middle of nowhere. And it's fascinating to get different people's perspectives. You know, Tam's grandfather, you know, worked for the Empire. So she has a different perspective than Kaz, you know, or Yeager. And so we wanted to make sure we had that conflict, you know, that complexity, you know, when we had these conversations.
I just wanted to say, like, it was so heart-wrenching for me because Tora lives up in the tower, so she didn't get to be in the garage as often as everybody else. And at one point, I was reading the script, and it had occurred to me that I haven't seen Tam in a little bit. Like, where is she? And I would even ask, like, where's Susie, guys? Like, why is she not recording with us? And no one said anything. And then also having, like, a different perspective on what the Empire is doing on our platform was very urgent for me and very urgent for Tora. And then knowing that she left with Agent Tyranny was, I think we recorded the final episode together, and I finally saw Susie, and I just walked in the door and looked at her and just hugged her, and I was like, why are you going? And it's been very hard for me.
Susie, do you want to speak to the frustration that Tam has throughout the season for essentially being left out by the people that she trusts the most? And talk about, and maybe you guys can jump in too, talk about crafting that story that led us to the season 1 finale.
Yes. I think Tam goes on a tremendous emotional journey. And in the beginning, we meet her and she kind of has her guard up and she's been burnt by people that we will not mention, by hype.
Yeah.
And she's down on her luck and she's trying to rebuild herself and she's full of dreams and hope, and then Kaz comes in and then that kind of messes up the family dynamic, and she finally gets to be okay with that and starts to accept that, and they start to have this beautiful sibling type relationship. And then we dial up the heat a little bit, and then there's lies, and you know, all of that kind of thing comes in. And I think Tam just gets absolutely overwhelmed and essentially ends up quite heartbroken and very, very, very conflicted. And so when the First Order do come in and they do kind of offer her something else, and they show her, you know, facts, things that she's never seen before, that she would never ever have believed would happen, she, yeah, like, it was a hard decision, and just reading that and portraying that, I hope that I got to capture that conflict, because
you did.
I still feel it. I still feel it, okay?
Your performance was just the trembling voice. I mean, what was it like to record those scenes? Because you could hear the emotion coming through in the character.
It was like really being there, you know? We were as close to actually doing it live action as possible. I just, all of the feelings, everything, all of the build up, and I think especially kind of going in and being the person, like the vessel that kind of carries her story along, getting to that point, it was a very, you know, it was a little explosive for me. Inside, in the, yeah.
We were in the back of the recording booth and crying, like we were just so moved by your guys' performances. It was amazing.
Yeah. Look at that character. She's so cute.
I was actually crying as I was writing the script. Maybe not that much, but it was like, it was such an emotional thing, and just seeing these guys perform, it was just, yeah, we were just sitting in the back. We were just blown away by the performances and by the true emotion that was shining through. I mean, you guys are just a brilliant cast, and you really took us there.
They also did a great job in production. As Myrna said earlier, they separated Tam from us. We weren't seeing Tam. So we started to feel that in the production as well. When she'd come around, we're like, what's going on? Like, how you been? What's new? You know, and it was just this distance that we felt, which really translated on screen.
Yeah.
So again, kudos to the production team for even, I don't even know if you meant to do that, but it happened.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Totally.
At the end of season 1, Orca and Flix are in a box. They made me stay in a box for 6 months.
Oh, man.
I just got out. That's why this beard, that's why they just let me out. But it worked. It worked for the character.
Well, we gave you a lot of bacon, though, so.
You did give me a lot of bacon, and I had some of my own. Thank you very much.
I'm thinking spin-off series.
Oh, come on. Let's do it right now. I'm in.
Right? It writes itself. It writes itself.
Any big Flix and Orca fans out there?
Right here, baby.
Yay!
Right here.
I'm the biggest one.
I have to say, you know, some of my favorite episodes, and then I do want to get back to the season 1 finale, but just really quickly, the shorts that were released in between the first part of season 1 and the first part of season 2. Did you all catch those? What were they, 12 shorts? You guys were hilarious.
Thank you.
Those.
That's one of my favorite things I've ever seen. As a Star Wars fan, I'm gonna get choked up. I can't even begin to explain to you how much I love those shorts. Also, meeting this guy has been wonderful. We're big fans. And Hype and Orca have a scene together. Like, it's my favorite. This has been the greatest. Those shorts are the best. I love them. I watch them way too much.
If you haven't seen them, seek them out. They're amazing. If you're looking for more Star Wars Resistance, there you go. Those 12 shorts are amazing. But I need to ask you, and I'm so sorry, I have to ask you about season 2. When last we left our heroes, you guys were basically, you jumped off into hyperspace. Let's start with timeline, because we know now we're in the middle of The Force Awakens. Where do we go in season 2? Do we presumably jump into the Last Jedi timeline?
So I can safely say that, like The Force Awakens into Last Jedi, which is continuous, our season 1 and season 2 is also continuous. So it'll just jump right into what we saw in season 1.
Hey guys, Chastity here at the Regal Robot booth, and we're here to talk with Tom Spina. So Tom, you've got a bunch of exclusives. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We've got, it's one exclusive and then a whole bunch of new to market stuff that I have been working on for so long and just dying for fans to see and be able to get their hands on, and it's just so cool to be here now finally and get to share this with everyone.
Well, I can't wait to see them. Let's see, what's first?
Sure. So the convention exclusive is one of my favorite things ever in Star Wars. It's just there's cool background sculpture everywhere. And so there's these little gargoyles that hang out on Jabba's dais in Jabba's palace. And we've just always wanted to do something with them, and we thought, you know what, like we need something that's like kind of a neat little kitschy thing. We made a little magnet out of them, and we just sold our first batch of them for today. We have another 100 of them tomorrow morning, and another 100 after that, and then they're gone. So hopefully folks will come by and
so ein riesen Chewbacca im Zimmer einfach, der da rumsteht.
So this is just one of those things we did for fun. So
das ist natürlich
is
nice.
The Space Slug from Empire Strikes Back, as I'm sure everyone knows.
Als Stifthalter.
Exogorth. Yes. And we thought, well, why doesn't someone
das ist so ein Ding, so Stiftehalter oder sowas, die gibt's voll häufig in so richtig coolen Ideen, aber irgendwie nutzt man nie so einen Stiftehalter. Ich weiß, dass früher hatte ich immer so einen Stiftehalter bei mir im Zimmer, als ich noch bei meinen Eltern gewohnt habe. Aber irgendwie sind die Dinger ziemlich useless im Endeffekt. Irgendwie. Ich bin da auch kein ordentlicher Mensch. Ich lasse die eigentlich immer eher so rumliegen, die Stifte, und dann liegen die da halt. Ob die jetzt irgendwo so stehen oder liegen, ist ja dann auch egal.
Originally effects guys, and what we do is make monsters. So even on a small scale, we want to make cool monsters.
Aber trotzdem witzig.
Awesome. Well, speaking of
da gibt's bestimmt richtig coolen Stuff. Jetzt geht's zum Chewbacca.
We've got Chewie here. Tell us about this. My goodness.
He's a little bit taller than us. So this is our company now for 2019 has gotten the license to do life-sized busts and characters. And for us, we didn't want to just do the sort of typical ones that you see all the time. We wanted to do the creatures that people aren't able to do on a regular basis. And we're able to make this stuff in our shop in New York by hand, you know, by artists that do this for a living. And so we also, in addition to doing them as products, we do them custom. So this came from a client of ours, who's a longtime guy who bought our furniture and stuff, said, I've always wanted a life-size Chewbacca. Is that something you can do? Yeah, you know. So it is made to Peter's height when he was playing Chewbacca in the original trilogy. The mask is resin. It's a solid resin head that we then hand lay the hair on, and we glue it on a little at a time like Stuart Freeborn did for the movie. The hair is a custom blend of 5 different colors in the brown and 5 different colors in the gray, all perfectly matched to the original suits that we got to go and look at and examine and get our hands on. We've been very lucky to do a bunch of Chewbacca projects.
Ja, die Frage, wie viel sowas kostet. Was glaubt ihr, was sowas kostet? Das würde mich mal interessieren.
So I just thought this was a really cool chance for us to put some of that knowledge that we've.
Hey, und Torben, vielen lieben Dank, Mann, für 1 Euro. Super nett von dir. Danke sehr. Super cool. Da könnt ihr auch die Herzen da lassen.
You're not going to get this somewhere else, so come to us and this is what we can make.
Great. We also have a couple other things here. Can we talk about these?
Yes. So this is one of our Han Solo and Carbonite mini plaques. We also have a larger size, which we'll get a shot of in a bit, I'm sure. And this is available both at about 17.5 inches, and I think this is about 6 inches tall.
3,000, 2,000.
We do the same with our Mandalorian skulls. We have a range of different sizes. This is sort of the midline size. This is the smaller size. There's one nice, real large size, which is awesome for the bounty hunters out there. And it's a realistic interpretation of the famous icon on Boba Fett's shoulder. And that's, again, it's just our creature guys going, you know, how do we put our spin on this? Lots of people have done little cutouts of the logo or stickers or pins and whatever. And we said, well, what's the animal look like? What's that skull look like? And we had a wonderfully talented artist named Mio Nakamura. She sculpted that giant skull for us, and it's just out of this world, tons of detail.
So we have a Chewbacca life-size bust here. This is incredible. This is your first bust, is that correct?
So this is the first sort of inline product that we're doing in the life-size bust range. Again, it was sort of like, what's something that's very us? You know, what can we put out there that people are going to see and not be able to get somewhere else? So we thought, you know, let's do Chewbacca. This is sort of his Empire Strikes Back look. It's 1-to-1 to the size of the head. The teeth are cast off of original teeth. The face is actually made, we started with a digital scan of an old skin that Stuart Freeborn had kept after all his years of makeup work, and then did a clay press of that, restored the scan, personally I did, in clay, and then that sculpted in all of his eyes and everything like that, and that became our bust. We tried to capture the look of Peter Mayhew in the character and not just, you know, a Wookiee generically. You know, we wanted this to feel like Chewie.
Yeah, it's really in the eyes. That's how you can kind of feel Peter there, which is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I put a lot of time into trying to get, he's got these great sort of like, you know, soulful eyes, and I wanted to make sure we captured that. We're only doing 50 of these as a signature
ja, so ein Pappaufsteller will ich nicht ahnen. Ich will schon so eine richtige Figur.
Right now, Peter's going to sign it for us. This is one of my favorite things in the world. So
this
is a replica of the concept Tauntaun that Phil Tippett sculpted before Empire Strikes Back. And I got to work with Phil on a couple of things, and he had kept the mold for all these years. And as soon as I heard that, my eyes went wild. I'm like, Phil, that's literally one of my favorite pieces of sculpture in, like, ever. And I couldn't believe that that mold still existed. We found out the mold was viable. We pulled a casting out of it, did a little bit of restoration on it, and that is the master for this piece. And we're only doing 250 pieces. Each one comes with a plaque that Phil signed and numbered himself. And I'm just super excited about it. Actually, I'm going to show you my favorite feature on the thing, though. Hold on. So, here's the trick. How do you keep a Tauntaun's tail from breaking and shipping? Magnets.
Oh, clever. Very well done.
Thank you.
All right, tell us about this Emperor's Throne.
So last year we made a living room sort of gaming chair version of the Emperor's Throne. It's real big, it's super comfy, and we've always wanted to make one that you could bring to work with you or have at your house. It's great for gaming, it's great for your desk. It's a little bit smaller than the other chair, but it still captures those lines. And the cool thing is, it's not really a direct replica of the prop chair, which is massive and can't fit in your house anyway, but it just immediately reads as the chair, and it's sort of got this almost like mid-century kind of 60s vibe to it, and I absolutely love it.
Well, I'm going to test it out if you don't mind.
Oh no, go right ahead.
Thank you so much.
Be careful, it might turn you evil.
I am feeling the power right now. Thank you so much, Tom. And if you want to check out all of these products, head over to the Regal Robot booth here at Celebration. Stick around because there's more Star Wars Show Live coming up.
Aber was soll denn das? Das Panel sollte doch
Boba Fett's iconic spike shoes are tough to fill, especially when you're just a kid. But our next guest did that while also giving the internet a new one-word catchphrase for Fett. Yep, that's right, it's Daniel Logan.
What's up, Celebration? Welcome to number 9.
Number 9?
Number 9.
That's a good number this year.
I think so, yeah. We're just going to keep them going,
so
thanks to guys like you.
Celebration turns 20 this year. How long have you been coming to Celebration?
Frage mich auch Black Panther.
Wow. I want to say since a galaxy far, far away. My first celebration was Celebration 2. And ever since that, I've been addicted, and I've loved these conventions that pretty much that's all I want to do is just come out, meet fans, and have a good life through the Fett eyes.
What's the best part of it?
The best part, I think, is when you shake someone's hand, and you introduce yourself as Daniel Logan, they don't really care. Like, oh, nice to meet you. But as soon as they find out that you played Boba Fett in Star Wars, it's a whole completely different meet and greet. It's like, oh, nice to meet you. It's like, well, what happened to Daniel Logan? He's just as cool sometimes, at least in my mind.
Dude, okay, so I'm gonna get a little nerdy here. I've been a Boba Fett fan for ages. My first tattoo is this Mandalorian insignia right here. I got that when I was 18. You've always been Boba Fett to me. Like, I know who Daniel Logan was since the second they announced that. There was a stretch there back in like 1999 or something when there were rumors that Boba Fett was going to be Jet Li, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But no, it was you. And we got to see you, and you
guys down. Chicago exclusive. Ich habe keine Ahnung, ich wundere mich auch.
You're putting on some muscle there. You got some.
Ich wundere mich auch.
You can go bounty hunting.
What can I say? Got to be Mandalorian fit, right?
Yeah,
Guck mal, also wir lassen uns einfach mal laufen und gucken mal, ob es gleich weitergeht.
What do you think the big, huge appeal is? We got the Mando Mercs over there. You're a member. You've got the
so,
armor.
aber vorerst müssen wir natürlich hier super cool zeichnen.
Having an armor of my own, now you can really feel the presence when you actually step inside the armor. You feel someone different, bigger than yourself. And I think that's what Boba Fett really gave us all. There was so little of him in the movies that we all could create him through our own eyes and our own backstories.
the Mandalorians, especially the Mandalorian mercs, I love those guys so much. And I'm just so honored that they have gotten given something that they can all relate to and see themselves as.
So.
And I'm just excited to see where we go with this whole world.
What's your one tip for anybody who puts on a suit of Mandalorian armor and they're just, you know, they want to really, they want to become the fat? Like, what's the trick there?
Get a lot of fans.
No,
not fans. I mean, fan kits.
Ja.
The armor is so hot, and once you're in it for more than 10 minutes, you literally lose weight.
Sieht so aus wie so ein E.T., der irgendwie eine Brille auf hat.
You get yourself a fan kit.
Sieht ja scheiße aus.
I think the coolest thing is
Twissy, ja, das ist Twissy, da hast du recht. Das soll Maskanata sein. Ja, das
so it's just stay cool in both senses, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh Mann,
I like that. So one thing I remember reading is I think Jeremy Bullock in an interview talked about how like he just really had to go to the bathroom when he first had that armor on. Have the Mando mercs figured out a good solution there?
So.
No, you just go in the armor.
Okay, fair enough.
That's why we all smell the way we do, you know? It's not years of wearing it, it's what we do in them.
Oh, all right.
That's what you call dedication.
Okay, so I want to talk to you a bit about, you've done a bunch of celebrations and conventions with Tamara Morrison, who played Django, obviously. Do you guys have like a family bond or anything? Or what's your relationship like with him?
I love Django Fett. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here because Aquaman, I guess, is my other brother in another galaxy and obviously needs him too.
Hat er einen langen Hals so.
It's funny that he always comes from water worlds or water planets or somewhere near the ocean, you know?
That's a weird point.
Camino was a water planet. He's now a water father to us Aquaman. So, unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here, although I know he was super excited. With me and him, the first moment I met him, he said to me, I'm going to be playing your dad, you're going to be playing my son. You call me dad, and I'll call you son. So I looked up at him, all of 4 foot nothing. I said,
so schlecht aus.
All right, Dad.
Ja, die Wundi.
And he looked back down
Ich
at me
hätte
and
auch
went,
Kia die Wundi gesagt, so scheiße
so
sieht er
everywhere we
aus.
went, we were like Yogi Bear and Boo Boo, you know? Like, come on, Boo Boo, we're going to go do that next time now. Come on, Boo Boo, we're going to go on set. So we just became like this father-son bond on and off.
Han Solo.
He would call my house, but I grew up without a father. So when Star Wars came around, we always figured my father would eventually start to call again. Well, my Star Wars father started to call. So when my family would pick up the phone,
kann ich noch die eine Sache deutlicher machen, aber die Farben weiß ich nicht aus dem Kopf.
Can I talk to him? And my brothers and sisters would be like, oh, now you're calling him, would hang up the phone on him. So then they would have to call back and be like, no, I'm his Star Wars father. I'm like, oh, and then all of a sudden,
legitimately heartwarming and adorable.
Yeah, I tell you, this is my life.
I love it. So obviously you've been around Star Wars plenty. Do you have any like sort of special favorite experiences from all these celebrations you've been to?
You know, to tell you the truth,
ich wollte ihm eigentlich hier so eine komische Halbplätze malen, aber das habe ich irgendwie gar nicht hinbekommen.
I didn't realize that I could incorporate my fans with my life and through social media.
Atakin, aka Tombie.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful
so ein Mist aber auch.
The love and all of the connection that's come back to me.
Einfach ein random Offizier, nee, der soll schon Tarkin sein.
But I'm just so grateful to sit here and still be able to say today that I was blessed enough to be able to be directed by George Lucas, you know, many moons ago, and he really did change my life.
Muss mir mal irgendwelche Figuren, glaube ich, angucken. Alles klar, das ist jeder, aber nicht Tarkin, aber Tarkin.
You and George Lucas. So thank you guys all, truly.
Ich weiß auch nicht, Pixel Game, wie das ist bei dem Resistance-Panel, inwiefern das jetzt noch gezeigt wird. Oder? Das wäre echt bescheuert, wenn sie das nicht so machen.
There was a 16-year gap between Episode 6 and Episode 1 where we actually got no Star Wars, like I guess the holiday special. We got to see a little bit of Boba in it.
Warte mal, warte.
We no longer watch.
We can, yeah, you know.
Or we erased from the galaxy, but
Hallo Bene.
It was fans and the backstories that made this character and brought him back to who he really is today, which we all look at as the man himself, Jeremy Bullock.
So when you were cast as Boba Fett, did you know who that was?
I had no clue. I grew up on a small island. We had 3 TV channels. The TV at 11:45, a little bird would come on the TV and say, "Good night, New Zealand," wave to us all, and then the TV would go off. Exactly.
And then you
wonder why my mom had so many kids.
Also kennt man ja jetzt schon, das ist einfach viel zu gut gemalt.
Oh my, okay. Well, this is
oh wait, where are we going with this? Sorry.
All right, so before we go, Daniel, the sort of Boba Fett in Clone Wars has just an iconic grimace. We've seen that scowl. Can you give us one to the camera right there? Just give us a really good Boba Fett scowl.
Der gute Credo.
There it is.
Yep.
I love it.
Dad, Tonwee's here.
Also ich fand ihn gut.
Get him, Dad, get him. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, man. This has been an honor.
Hoffentlich geht's jetzt auch mal weiter.
This wonderful man. Thank you all. Thank you, buddy.
Man kann ja
Thank you all.
noch malen.
Have a wonderful celebration, and may the force be with you all always. Love you guys. Have a great day.
Das war gar nicht Jar Jar, nee, das war gar nicht Jar
Celebration
Jar.
Chicago on the Star Wars Show Live, so stay tuned.
Ach, ich bin noch hier, irgendeine Auswahl. Nein.
Hey everybody, Max here, and I'm here with Michael from LEGO to talk a little bit about a very special occasion, which is the 20th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars. What do you guys have planned for celebration?
Nee,
We
das
have
ist
a
ja
whole
voll
booth
falsch.
here for fans to celebrate the 20 years of Star Wars. It's one of our most iconic play themes in the entire company system. It was also one of our first
Das soll gar nicht
licensed
so dick
themes, so it's,
sein.
a really fitting time for us to celebrate that milestone.
It's hard to believe it's been 20 years. I love this. You've got the original logo recreated in LEGO.
Exactly. Our LEGO Master Builder spent about 36 hours, I think it was, putting this together, and there's over 30,000 LEGO bricks in it. So really nice way to mark the occasion. Our fans love when there's a life-size LEGO anything that they can take pictures with.
I love it. We have something very special at the end to show you, but first let's take a look at the booth.
Yes.
Das ist doch niemals Space Window. Warum kann ich den nicht
In
malen?
this space, we will have Chicago area fan groups who are fans of LEGO actually
Was ist das?
and involve Star Wars fans in getting hands-on with LEGO
Ich,
bricks.
zu meiner Verteidigung, ich mal hier mit der Maus.
Builds and blind bag builds and tips and tricks and all kinds
Male
of fun
mit der
games and
Maus.
stuff. We'll also have a LEGO designer in here doing appearances, Q&A, and autograph
Was
sessions,
ist das?
and lots of other really fun programming and content.
Lord Voldemort, ja.
Wonderful. And I mean, with 20 years of material
Der
to pull
passt
from,
schon
you've got,
eher,
I
huh?
imagine, a wide range of ages from LEGO fans, and you've got something
Jetzt muss
very
ich mich
special
aber
for kids.
anstrengen.
Let's take a look at that.
Yes. So it's been 20 years of LEGO telling Star Wars stories, and now we are finally saying to kids,
Oh, das ist
the
aber echt
best
gut.
battles are built by you. So we're inviting kids to come into the recording booth here at the show.
Er muss ja eigentlich jetzt schon nicht mehr
and tell us
weitermalen, weil
their
das so gut
versions
ist
of
bis
the
jetzt.
best Star Wars battles in the universe. So they'll be able to record sound effects and tell their own version of maybe Yoda showed up at that battle and what happens then. And then we'll take
Vader,
their
yeah.
voiceover and actually animate the 20 best stories that we hear from Celebration here, and we'll release those later on this year.
That's phenomenal. And it's going to be all the level of polish we've come to expect from animated LEGO?
Absolutely, yeah.
And what's going on back here with all these buildings?
We have a free building area, so there's a lot
Die
of things
Helmform war
that we
richtig
do
gut
that are
und
all
jetzt habe ich
about our
verkackt.
interpretation of LEGO Star Wars. That's a really nice area for people to get creative and start
Aber es
building
wäre
their
Vader
own versions
gewesen,
of the
ja.
Star Wars galaxy if they want to while they're hanging out here.
I love that. It's easy to get hung up
Ein
in what's
Mist.
canon and what's not, but with LEGO, you get a little more wiggle room. It's all about creativity.
Yeah, and Lucasfilm
Nein,
is
ich
so
wollte
good
das doch
about letting us
löschen.
do those
Ah.
adaptations. So it's always fun to put a little twist on something.
Tja, ist die Frage, geht das hier noch weiter oder nicht? Das
Putting
kommt mir
a
jetzt so
good
vor,
twist
als
on
wären sie das
things,
echt einfach.
We've come to expect that
Was soll
with
denn das?
Star Wars movies turning 20 years old, sometimes a nice
Hallo, James
special
Tiberius
edition is
Kirk,
in
guten
order,
Tag.
and you guys have done exactly that.
Das ist bei der
with some
Form belassen sein
classic
sollen.
Star
Das
Wars
ist Vader nach dem
designs. They're now
Autounfall,
getting
oha.
beautiful, brand new kind of remasters.
Oha.
In addition to Celebration turning 20, so is the Phantom Menace, and you guys have put out a brand new version of Anakin's Pod Racer.
Yes, so for the 20 years,
So, wie sieht
we have
das
this
denn aus?
centerpiece, the
Irgendwie-
timeline of the history of 20 years here. And what our designers have done is take
komm.
some of the most popular models from the 20 years of LEGO Star Wars and recreate them in more modern versions. So the way that we have the timeline set up here is you have the original model as it released. So for example, the Pod Racer from 1999, one of the first LEGO Star Wars models ever released in the world, and then connected over to the display box here with the new version, the 20th anniversary commemorative edition model
das Schwede,
that's been
ey.
updated by our LEGO designers and really reflects a lot of detail and great play opportunity.
I think it's really cool, especially just to see technically how far LEGO has come, how many new pieces have been introduced, how many new colors.
Also ganz schlecht ist das gar
It's cool
nicht.
how so much of that has happened kind of in conjunction with Star Wars. I had this one when I was a kid.
Also ich finde den eigentlich, ey, den finde ich gar nicht so schlecht im Endeffekt. Ich habe gedacht, so zwischendrin, das kann nichts werden, aber jetzt...
Yeah, I think my favorite representation of what you were just saying is the Slave One over here. So if we walk over, this is from the year 2000.
Mixe.
I mean, check that out. It's like
Jar
super
Jar auf
vintage
Drogen.
Slave One. And then if you look at the updated version of it,
Wie aus
over
dem
here,
Gesicht geschnitten.
the 2019 edition, I look at the iteration of details and
Oh, sie
functionality.
meine Schwester,
You
alles
can
klar.
truly see that the collaboration with Lucasfilm over 20 years
Szene
has taken us
riesiger
from that
Retard.
model to this model, and who knows what's coming.
I
Oha.
mean, just look at the number of parts in the Boba Fett minifig, or the fact that the original Han and Carbonite is just one piece with a decal.
Okay.
It was a stack of bricks with a sticker, and now it's a truly molded piece.
Watto, nee, Watto war das nicht.
Reflects the detail of the galaxy. And this, just to be clear, this is an entirely brand new Slave 1 kit. It is.
Das heißt, muss ich mir hier natürlich auch perfekt die Vorlage suchen, so.
They're all on display and they're for sale here at the show. Cool. Let's take a look at some of these other ones here.
Some of the things that are also on the timeline, many of the firsts that we've introduced in the LEGO system have actually happened in the Star Wars universe. So the first short minifigure legs, for example, on Ewoks and Yoda, and Anakin, and young Boba Fett as well. And then also one of the first lines that introduced more natural skin tones so that the characters who are in the galaxy and represented by the actors look more like themselves. And not the yellow versions that people are more familiar with.
I think I read somewhere that the first sculpted minifig head was Jar Jar.
Es kriegen sie sogar hin, nur wegen der Pose, ey. Ein Solo, ja.
The longest LEGO model ever released as a retail set was the Super Star Destroyer in 2011. So again, lots of firsts happening in the LEGO Star Wars line over the last 20 years. And then probably the most
hier so sein Blaster noch in der Hand.
Built the world's largest LEGO model ever. It was an X-Wing starfighter that we landed in the center of Times Square in New York City. And it was created by our master builders in the Czech Republic.
It took them over 17,000
hours, and it was 5.3 million LEGO bricks. And
hier der Riese seine Hand
so fans can
in der
see how
Hose.
that was put together.
It's so cool. Now, it's not quite the size of a full-size X-Wing, but we do have something very cool to check out here. Who might, you know, be comfortable in the cockpit of an X-Wing.
Also ganz schlecht ist es nicht. Die Haare sind irgendwie total... Also das Gesicht ist echt schlecht, aber der Rest so geht so.
And they have recreated the New Hope poster here in Lego form. So,
So nach dem Unfall. Bei mir ist es immer nach dem Unfall.
Check it out. It's a really amazing mosaic.
Oh, das sieht ja cool aus, was hier gerade gezeigt wird, ey.
Sort of step out of Luke Skywalker here in the front. So we know that fans are going to love to pose with this and share their photos from the show with their friends.
Das sieht echt cool aus.
Well, happy anniversary to Lego Star Wars. And we've got lots more coming out of Star Wars Celebration, so stick around. And if you're here, check out the Lego booth.
Okay, mal gucken, ob da jetzt was kommt. Bin ja mal gespannt, aber ich glaube fast, die zeigen das nicht, ne? Die zeigen ganz einfach, die zeigen wirklich diese zweite Hälfte von dem Resistance-Panel nicht.
One of the most amazing, heartwarming, and wonderful things about Star Wars fans are their own level of creativity, and the Star Wars Fan Awards have been a Lucasfilm tradition for years. And now we're joined with two of the winners, Jack Quaranton and Raymond Montemayor, and I'm sorry,
Mark W. Grant.
Mark W. Grant. Please welcome them.
Der Bierkrug ist übrigens angekommen. Super gute Qualität. Ey, das freut mich total. Das ist super.
Right. What we did was we showed 8 award-winning films last night, just about 15 minutes from
jetzt ist eh 21:50. Bis dann sollte es ja enden. Ja, eigentlich schon, aber das wundert mich total. Weil eigentlich ist ja so, die haben dann da ziemlich lange über die erste Staffel... Was ist denn das, was da läuft? So ein Fanfilm oder was? Ah ja, okay. Von wegen, was die gesagt haben, war ja eher so die Zusammenfassung der ersten Staffel oder viele Eindrücke davon und so. Wenig zur zweiten leider. Hallo Critics. So, okay, jetzt müssen wir den noch malen. Den will ich noch hinkriegen. Das mache ich jetzt aber mit Vorlage. Das werde ich trotzdem nicht hinkriegen, weil das super schwer wird.
It took us a full day of shooting for Like My Father Before Me, a lot of post work, but the people that are in there are all professionals. And I always say, how do you make a $50,000 5-minute film for less than 10%? Everybody says yes. And you owe them for life. You know, and they call you at 2 o'clock in the morning, hey, I need some help.
But that's what I love, is it's such a meeting of all of these Star Wars fans that have creativity in all kinds of different disciplines. You're talking about, I mean, for your film, you're definitely at least talking about people who are actors, people who can stunt fight, people who can have every single level of skill set here.
Well, Lucky McQueen, who was my cyber mall, 8.5 feet tall. Matter of fact, he's right back there.
What's up?
He won with this 10-foot loader droid in the competition with Best in Show.
He's our cosplay competition winner back there in the
right
speeder.
Back there.
There he is in his land speeder.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And, you know, the people we had in our film, like my droid, you saw this R2 roll across the Academy Award stage 2 years ago, thanks to Mike Sena and his work that he did.
Nein, es sieht jetzt immer noch schlimmer aus.
And then for your film, I mean, you're talking stop motion, which is a very time-consuming thing to do.
Yeah, it took me on and off about 2.5 years to complete. So I started in April of 2016.
It was going to be my love letter to the Force Awakens right after.
Das sieht so unfassbar, da fehlt irgendwie irgendwas. Hier ist irgendwie total der Perspektivenfehler.
September 2018 in time for the competition.
Perfekt.
Yeah, and
dieses Gesicht.
My daughter's in it, so I started filming her when she was 7.
Oh Mann.
Both daughters. Yeah, and by the time
Verkehrsunfall. Bei mir sind die immer alle
she was
Verkehrsunfälle.
too old to finish the shot, so I used my other daughter, who's like 3 years younger.
And you got down on one knee and you said, honey, daddy's got to fire you. I'm so sorry.
Okay. She got promoted to executive producer.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
That's how you bought her out of her contract. I like that. And then your film, what I love is it explores so many things that we love. Like we all love making jokes about like, if this is something that happens in Star Wars, what does it mean?
Ich fange jetzt nicht nochmal neu an. Lasst den so, ich will wissen, wie der am Ende aussieht.
What the heck does that mean? He's more machine. It never occurred to me in the 80s watching it that Darth Vader had robot legs.
Sure.
I thought he was just a guy in a suit. You know, but George Lucas had all of this stuff in mind, this whole complicated story, way back then. And I just thought that was a funny way. Like, if he had to actually explain all that, it would have been kind of embarrassing.
Go ahead. Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Yeah. Give it up for the creator, George Lucas.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us some place to play.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for coming by. All of your films are available online.
They're on StarWars.com.
Can you believe it?
Can I just mention the 3 filmmakers that aren't here that
yes,
played
please
last
do.
night? So there's James Zimmerman, who did Forceful Imagination, Jared Seach, Broken Souls,
Oh my God.
and Philip Cook, Star Malice Wars.
Give it up for all of our Star Wars fans.
Go to StarWars.com, StarWars.com, and you'll see the film.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for stopping by. We have more
Scheiße.
from the Star Wars Show Live coming up in just a minute. Don't go anywhere.
Was ist das? Yoda, ja, das Pfannkuchengesicht. Hoffentlich besoffener Yoda, bekiffter Yoda. Oh mein Gott, ey. Und da besteht ja nicht Medieninformatik, sondern Kunst, ja. Abstrakte Kunst. Abstrakte Star Wars Kunst.
Hey, it's Jordan back on the convention floor here with Tia, who has obviously
Okay, jetzt machen wir aber was wir
very
hinkriegen, hoffentlich.
Tia, you having a good time at Star Wars Celebration?
I am. It's been a fantastic time.
This is a huge bag. You've
Ich
obviously
dann immer das andere
today.
Auge nicht hin.
Yes.
Das sieht dann immer, das ist schon wieder beschissen jetzt.
So what we just got is I have a Boba Fett pin right there and
das sieht
a
gut aus.
Jango Fett pin.
Are you guys big pin collectors?
We're just starting out.
Oh, you're just starting out?
Yeah, I have another Boba Fett right there.
Okay, so you're a Fett fan?
I just keep finding him.
He turns up.
I like Bobo. I just like Jango better.
Fantastic. I'll take them both.
Okay.
What else you got there?
Oh, so I went to her Universe store, and first of all, they gave this fan, which is really cool, because I love Ahsoka.
Ja.
My favorite thing I've gotten thus
Der irgendwie noch
far,
einen Mund?
let me not knock stuff out, is
Das ist irgendwie so dieses, was hier so reinläuft, ist so sein Mund, ne?
Fantastic.
awesome. It's very warm, and like feel it. The material is
Naja.
really good material.
This is great. And where'd you get this?
At the Her Universe store.
That is fantastic.
Perfekt.
That's quality right there.
It is. I can't wait to start wearing it.
Trailer kam nicht, oder? Nee, leider nicht.
Like right now.
It's a little hot in here, but as soon as I go outside, I'm not used to the cold of Chicago.
Ja, mal gucken, ob das irgendwer irgendwie hochgeladen hat, ob es da irgendwas gab.
Well, this is Jordan. I'm going to be wandering around all day talking to folks about what's in their bag.
Resistance,
Stay tuned because there is more of the
2.
Star Wars show live from Star Wars Celebration
Teaser oder
coming
sowas.
right up.
Yesterday, fans finally got their first look at The Mandalorian, and quite frankly, it was the talk of the convention center. Luckily, we were there to find out what fans thought as they walked out of the room. Check
Nee,
it out.
irgendwie findet man auch im Internet nichts von wegen, irgendwie ein Sneak Peek oder sowas in der Richtung. Man verkauft ja nicht seine Bilder auf eBay. Aber der Dings, ich kann die mal einblenden, einen Moment.
Goosebumps. It was
Ist das
damn
nur,
crying,
wie machen,
and I
obwohl ich
just
lasse das mal ganz kurz offen.
I thought I was excited before, but that definitely has
Der
nothing
Fabi hatte
to
mir ja
how I feel
2
right now.
verkauft. Oder was heißt verkauft? Der hat 2 gekauft gehabt. Die habe ich sogar noch auf meinem Desktop liegen.
Flabbergasted, utterly.
So, den hier. Jetzt sieht man natürlich wegen dem Paint-Ding nichts. Warte mal. Den hier, die habe ich ihm sogar dann auch zugeschickt und unterschrieben. Aber das war eigentlich eher Spaß von ihm und das habe ich trotzdem gemacht. Der heißt übrigens Bobby wäre neidisch, hieß das Bild. Und den hier natürlich auch. Der hieß Pirat. Die beiden Bilder wurden mir immerhin schon mal abgekauft. Obwohl ich die niemals hat er dafür. Frag den Fabian Michaelis, wenn er das nächste Mal da ist. Der hat die beiden Bilder, hat der 100 Pro von mir geschickt bekommen, weil er die mir damals, als ich die so, das hatte ich im Battlefield gemalt, weil ich dann rausgeflogen bin. Und da hat er mir für beide Bilder jeweils dann irgendwie 5 oder 10 Euro gespendet, hat geschrieben, ich kauf die. Und dann habe ich die dem auch zugeschickt. Mit Unterschrift und allem drum und dran. Ich weiß nicht, was er damit gemacht hat, ob er dann gesagt hat, ja okay, es war eigentlich nur ein Joke, aber ich habe dir den wirklich zugeschickt. Aber Bobby wäre neidisch, ist noch besser. Da hatte ich einfach nur einen Pinguin gemalt. Und dann habe ich daneben noch irgendwie so einen Boxer gemalt. Ich weiß nicht mehr warum, aber irgendwie habe ich das so getan. Wie viel willst du für den Yoda? Gar nichts. Bestimmt hat er die aufgehangen. Ihr braucht die nicht bezahlen. Wenn ihr das haben wollt, dann macht einen Screenshot und drückt euch das aus oder so. Ich weiß auch nicht. Die hängen jetzt im Kunstmuseum, ganz sicher. Wunderschön. Ich denke auch. Ich finde das schon gut. Die sind direkt in den Papierkorb geflogen. Ich hoffe nicht. Wir können ja mal den Fabi fragen. Der wird euch das beantworten. Er wird euch dann sagen, ja, habe ich geschickt bekommen. Was er gemacht hat, das weiß ich natürlich nicht. So. Ah, jetzt können wir hier nochmal den hier malen. Warte mal. Mal gucken, wie gut ich das hinkriege. Kannst du mich grüßen? Hallo Ferdi. Nicht mal mehr irgendwie Hintergrundmusik. Das ist natürlich total, als wäre das hier so total der beste Zeichner der Welt. Kommt jetzt die Musik. Oder machen wir die andere? Warte mal. Ja, das passt doch perfekt zu meinen Zeichenkünsten. Ich brauche nämlich vorher die richtige Musik, damit ich da auch natürlich mich richtig entfalten kann und so. Ich muss ja so richtig in die Stimmung kommen, in den Flow kommen. Man kennt das. Jetzt muss ich noch meine Vorlage aufmachen hier. Ich bin bereit. Ja. Nein, das ist nicht so. Egal, ich darf nicht aufhören. So ungefähr. Oh nein, das ist irgendwie falsch. Obwohl so ganz falsch ist es nicht. Uns noch retten irgendwie. Was ist denn dann noch? Da gibt's doch hier, sind irgendwie noch hier so Striche. Der sieht so scheiße aus. Tombie mit seinen Augenringen, ja. Schultern. Ein Türsteher-Stormtrooper. Perfekt. Komischer Typ in Monobraue, Augenklappe und Bart. Nein! El Phasmo. Kann der wenigstens treffen? Er kann alles. Alles, was das Herz begehrt, kann der. So. Den hat recht, wir brauchen mehr Pfeile. Ja, der hier. Das da Bene, der. Phasma. Das sollte eigentlich nur allgemeine Stormtrooper sein. Du kannst so gut zeichnen, wie du singen kannst. Warte mal. Krieg ich das jetzt auch noch gebacken?
hier die Lego mit. Ich weiß nicht, wie ich das andere, aber es hört sich bestimmt super cool und gesungen an. Ich bin der beste Sänger. Der beste Sänger.
Ja, perfekt gewesen, oder? Ich bin mir nicht... Wir müssen mal... Ich kann das sogar so einstellen, dass ich das höre, aber dann hört ihr das auch, glaube ich. Alter. Aber Erik. Kann man denn noch malen? Kannst du mich grüßen? Hallo, Algo. Wenn Tombie Langeweile hat. Voll geil, die verzerrte Stimme. Das ist super, hä? Karaoke-Stream mit diesem Stimmenverzerrer ist es halbwegs machbar. So, was kann man denn nehmen? Wen kann man denn noch malen? Da habe ich Augen- und Ohrenkrebs. Dumm gelaufen für dich. Ich könnte ein deutscher Rapper werden. Ich könnte. Müssen wir erstmal andere Musik hier anhaben. Ich glaube, das ist eher Tombies wahre Stimme. Bisher hatte er sie mal verzerrt. Ich glaube auch. Nein, jetzt habe ich einen riesen Fehler gemacht. So schnell. Das ist besser. Ja, der Nico ist aufgeweckt. Ja. Ihr habt's alle mitbekommen. Ich hab's gesehen. Das kann ich mal machen, Chian. Ich guck mal, wie ich den kriege. Wie sieht der denn aus? Hat er hier irgendwie sowas? Hat er hier irgendwie noch so ein Ziegenbart, der Typ? Oder was ist das? Das ist ja auch komisch. Man, diese Game of Thrones Charaktere, die kann doch keiner malen. Oh, die Augen sind sehr weit unten. Also wenn das nicht der perfekte Nachtkönig ist, dann weiß ich auch nicht. Frozen Thrawn. Frostkönig. Screenshot für Twissi, ja, mach mal. Irgendwas aus Game of Thrones, ja. Ich kenne mich da ja auch nicht aus. So, jetzt aber. Zum Glück habe ich die Kopfdinger eher gemalt. Einfach wieder mal perfekt getroffen. Auch ein super große Schultern hat sie. Aber ja, das soll Ahsoka sein. Also was hat der Bene denn geschrieben? Eine Katze? Kannst du die Musik ein bisschen leiser machen? Ja. Besser, ja. Mal Captain Slow, okay. So stelle ich mir den vor. Jetzt machen wir nochmal, warte mal. Wie fange ich denn da an? Ja. Soll jetzt natürlich auch ganz langsam und bedacht machen. Und dazu müssen wir auch den Captain Slow Tune hören. Was wäre das denn? Was mag denn der Captain Slow, das hier? Bis jetzt ist das noch gut. Captain Slow hat natürlich sein typisches Hemd an, was er immer anhat, hoffentlich. Und natürlich stabile Oberarme. Stabile Hände anscheinend auch. Oh, also ich glaube, da kann man auch nichts dran aussetzen, oder? Nicht so stabile Finger. Das Hemd hört natürlich hier auch so auf. Das ist so ein kurzärmliches Hemd. So slow, so verunstaltet ist überhaupt nicht. Das ist so perfekt. Also ich finde ihn gut. Schauen wir mal Twissi mal, wie der aussehen würde. Ja, da oben ist noch so ein bisschen was. Der Twissi fängt mal natürlich mit der Frisur an. Obwohl, der hat so eine komische Anime-Frisur am besten. Versuch einfach mal. Ich probiere mich einfach mal aus. So, das ist jetzt Twissis Frisur irgendwie. Das werde ich schon noch irgendwie hinkriegen. Na, der hat so ein richtig spitzes Kinn. Bei Twissi kann man eigentlich quasi so eine Radieschen oder so eine Rübe malen am Anfang. Das ist so Twissis typische Gesichtsform. So. Sehr gut. Ja, gut. Ja, ich rette das noch, behaupte ich. So, hier so eine Spitze. Wo ist denn hier eigentlich dieser Eimer? Gab es den hier nicht mal irgendwie zum Ausmalen? Nee, den gibt es hier nicht mehr. Na gut, passt schon. Goblin? Nein, das ist doch Twissi. Perfekt. Genauso habe ich mir auch vorgestellt. Ja, wusste ich's doch. Das kleine X nicht vergessen. Können wir hier natürlich auch noch auf dem T-Shirt ganz dick GOT draufschreiben. Aber ich glaube, das passt schon. Hallo Matthias Blume. Er hat keine unteren Zähne, ja. Vielleicht, das ist so Schattenfall irgendwie. Kann man ja erklären. Musik passt ja gerade richtig gut, ja. Pfeile, ja, das hier ist Twissy. Der Typ da. Er hier. Also ich finde, der ist mir schon gut gelungen. Jetzt noch ein Selbstporträt. Ach du Scheiße, da muss ich mich jetzt aber echt anstrengen. Soll ich jetzt so ein lustiges Selbstporträt malen für euch, damit ich wieder eine Glatze habe oder nicht? Jetzt muss ich mich aber anstrengen. Ich glaube, mit den Haaren anzufangen ist ein großer Fehler, oder? Die sehen auch komplett falsch aus irgendwie. Ich glaube, Haare kann ich einfach nicht malen. Das Gesicht ist total verrutscht. Was habe ich denn heute an? Blau. Perfekt. Nee, das sieht doof aus. Komm, mir enthüllt jetzt das Geheimnis seiner Identität. Genau so sehe ich aus. T. Also wenn man jetzt die vorherigen Dinger so in Betracht zieht, finde ich, man hätte es schlechter treffen können. Du schaust etwas gemein. Nee, dann würde ich so malen. Ich habe so die eine Augenbraue so voll weit hochgezogen und die andere ist hier unten. Jetzt sieht die auch komisch aus. Ich mag keine Augenbrauen. Leute, die ich frage, ob du dich zeigen kannst, kannst du ja einfach das Bild einblenden. Ja. Genauso habe ich mir den vorgestellt. Ja, das ist 100% akkurat. Ich. Sieht aus wie als hättest du einen Diebestick. Ach. Wenn ich mal in Lübeck bin, suche ich nach einer Person, die so aussieht. Wo ist der Bizeps? Ah, das kriege ich jetzt nicht mehr hin. Tombie 2019, ich mag keine Augenbrauen. Er put, während ich so vorm Spiegel stehe und die abrasiere. Ich mag keine Augenbrauen. Also ich finde, der ist gar nicht so schlecht. Hätte ich mir die vorherigen speichern sollen, hätte man jetzt alle zusammenpacken können. Kannst mich grüßen, hallo Algo. Jetzt wollen alle, dass ich die anderen zeichne. Ich krieg die doch nicht alle hin. Ich male die sowieso irgendwie alle ähnlich. Irgendwie wird schon... Nee, Tinabra. Das ist dein Bullenhals, der ist auf der Rückseite. Jetzt noch ein Foto von dir zum Vergleich. Nee. Er ist schon ganz gut getroffen. Besonders meinen tollen T-Pulli, den ich natürlich immer anhab, wo einfach nur ein T draufsteht für Tombie. Den gibt's ganz sicher. Also ich finde das nicht schlecht. Schmeiß mal eine Facecam an. Nö. Dominika und Funky im Boxring. Ach, Heides, das kriege ich nicht hin. Ich dachte mal, du wärst eine Mumie. Nee, 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 nee. So, jetzt haben so viele Anakin gewollt, dann versuchen wir das auch nochmal. Nein. Ah, wo kriege ich ihn denn her? Makauer aus Paladins, den kriege ich nicht hin. Jetzt ist es halt schwierig mit den Haaren. Der Braunton stimmt ja überhaupt nicht. Ja. Man hätte es auch schlechter treffen können, oder? Das Panel geht gerade weiter. Bist du da sicher, Mysterious Man? Einen Moment. Ach, verdammt. Aber ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, dass sie da Dings weiterhin zeigen. Nee, das ist doch immer noch hier Gequatsche mit irgendwem. Obwohl, das ist sie ja, ne? Stimmt. Aber ich glaube nicht, dass das Panel ist. Ich glaube eher, dass das irgendwie nochmal davon abseits kommende Interviews sind. Also das ist wieder die Synchronsprecherin von der Tamara, aber ich glaube nicht, dass das irgendwie das Panel ist.
I'm having the time of my life. Wow, this is awesome.
Seriously, what is this experience like, especially after the first season?
It's insane, and what I love about it is actually getting to meet the fans. Like you're kind of in a bubble for so long, and you're in your own kind of little bubble recording, and very slowly you start to kind of meet the fans, which is what Star Wars is all about. So yeah, I'm on cloud 9 right now. So yeah, thank you all.
It's such a great experience.
Yeah.
So what's it like being part of Star Wars?
Also ich glaube, das ist einfach nur ein Interview mit der. Ach, Passmensch, ja, aber ich kann sie gleich wieder anmachen. Das Panel ist eh eigentlich durch. Einen Moment, dann muss ich das jetzt hier aber auch wieder da runterziehen. Ah, das ist jetzt sowieso das letzte Mal, dass ich die Donations ausmache, weil in nächster Zeit kommen ja keine Veranstaltungen oder sonst irgendwas. Bene, gute Nacht. Ist Cloud9 nicht ein E-Sports-Ding? Ja, aber ich glaube, das ist auch eine Redewendung im Englischen. Also einfach nur von wegen so, das ist bei uns Wolke 7, glaube ich. Also so auf Wolke 7 schweben als Redewendung. Aber frag mich nicht, mit englischen oder englischsprachigen Redewendungen finde ich schwierig.
Star Wars 9 Frage, glaubst der Todesstern ist ein dunkler Nexus?
Boah, jetzt ist die Frage, was ist ein dunkler Nexus genau? Warte mal.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't want to make you pick favorites, but
das muss ich erstmal googeln.
Who is your favorite character on Resistance?
Oh, I have so many, but I just have to give a big shout out to Niku.
Findet man direkt nicht unbedingt was. Was soll das genau sein, Pass? Erstmal vielen lieben Dank natürlich, vielen lieben Dank für die Spende, super nett. Danke, danke, da könnt ihr auch alle die Herzen rausballern. Super cool. Ist das in irgendeiner Form so eine Art große Machtquelle der Dunkelheit oder sowas in der Form? Das stelle ich mir darunter vor. Ich habe den Begriff noch nie gehört. Alle meiner Games. Ein dunkler Nexus ist ein Ort, wo die dunkle Seite der Macht sehr aktiv ist, wird geschrieben. Ja, okay. Ja, könnte gut sein, oder? Ich kann es mir schon gut vorstellen. Ist sowas wie die Höhle auf Dagobah, ja, okay. Ich kann es mir schon vorstellen, dass es so ist dann, ja. Das neueste Video von Star Wars Stories handelt davon. Ah, okay. Habe ich mir nicht angeschaut, tatsächlich. Aber danke für den Hinweis. Und ja, kann gut sein, wie gesagt. Habe ich mir, glaube ich, mal angehört, Pixel Game TV, aber ich kann mich nicht dran erinnern, so explizit. Ja, hier passiert nichts mehr, glaube ich. Ich glaube, das ist... Obwohl, was ist denn... Ja, darf ich nochmal groß machen? Was ist denn hier? Ja, das ist auch schon wieder vorbei, das Interview mit der Dame. Das läuft auch nur noch heute tatsächlich. Da ist dann bald, müsste da eigentlich die Endzeremonie sogar starten und dann hören die damit auch auf. Ich weiß nicht genau, was da die Endshow ist oder so, aber naja. Nur noch eine Stunde, dann kann ich auf deine Friendlist. Nice. So, komm, wir malen noch einmal irgendwas. Was können wir denn nochmal malen? Ich weiß es nicht genau. Ich weiß es nicht genau. Aber es ist ja auch schon wieder 9:30 gleich. Und der lange werde ich eh nicht mehr machen. Machen wir nochmal eine schöne Sache und dann können wir auch schon aufhören, würde ich behaupten. Ich muss morgen relativ früh aufstehen, leider. Aber anscheinend kein Trailer, ja, das stimmt. Hilf mir mal auf die Sprünge. Wie heißt der Planet der Sith? Korriban meinst du wahrscheinlich? Und hallo, Ovi. Hallo, Tadonat. Boba. Boba. Dann nehmen wir natürlich grün als Farbe. Zeichne Dr. Shredder, aber den kann ich doch nicht... Weiß ich nicht. Weiß ja nichts über den guten Dr. Shredder, wie der aussieht. Hey. Ah, die Helmform stimmt schon mal nicht so ganz. Naja, die Helmform passt eigentlich gar nicht. Das ist irgendwie so. Das ist ja dieses Antennendingenskirchen. Ein Scanner da. Ah. Mann, ist das immer blöd mit der Maus. Hätte ich gleich in Rot malen sollen, nicht in Grün. Bam, babam, bam, babam, bam, bam. Nochmal eine Star Wars Serie im Zeichenstil. Eieieiei. Nein, das sollte grün sein. Ja, voll rüber gemalt. Dann haben wir hier noch irgendwo diesen Einschuss. Ja, so halbwegs. Und dann wieder grün. Hier so. Ja, aber das erkennt man da auf jeden Fall, dass das der gute Boba ist. Man erkennt es, sagen wir es so. Man erkennt es schon. Squirrel geht weiter, habe ich gehört. Hat die letzten Male leider überhaupt nicht gut geklappt. Ja, Pixel Game, ich weiß auch nicht, wie du aussiehst. Sieht doch eigentlich ganz gut aus. Och, ja. So halbwegs, ne? Wenn man das so anguckt, das könnte schon von so einem Kleinkind gemalt sein oder so. Mama, Mama, guck mal, ich hab Boba Fett gemalt. Ach. Das kommt dann an einen Kühlschrank. Gute Nacht, Boot. Das ist Boba, als er schon im Sarlacc war, als sein Helm durchgekaut wurde. Der ist so übel. Moderne Kunst. Ich denke auch, ja, ich denke auch, ey. Dann machen wir nochmal das hier. Ist eine 3. Ach, Apfel, ich weiß ja nicht. Da bist du aber zu gnädig. Ich glaube eher, das wäre noch schlechter. Aber ich kann immer nur sagen, hey, ich male das mit der Maus. Mit dem Stift kann ich auch besser malen. Auf Papier. Hallo, Arthur Morgan. Ich dachte, das ist Django mit grünem Helm. Nee. So, komm, dann hören wir jetzt hier aber auch auf, würde ich sagen. Die, Star Wars Celebration ist damit durch. Bei Resistance gab es leider echt gar nicht viel zu sehen. Das haben sie eigentlich eher mehr oder weniger nur die erste Staffel nochmal wiederholt. Jetzt kriege ich hier wieder für Screenshots vom Nachtkönig. Ich hasse dich. Ey, Tüssi, du hast den Screenshot von dir verpasst, glaube ich. Ich spule mal im Stream ein bisschen zurück, da male ich dich auch. Aber hey, ich würde sagen, wir hören ja auf an der Stelle. Also von daher, ich wünsche euch jetzt allen eine ganz tolle gute Nacht. Schlaft schön und dann hört man sich morgen wieder. Ich werde mal gucken, inwiefern ich morgen streamen kann, weil ich bin morgen relativ lang unterwegs. Höchstwahrscheinlich. Vielleicht auch nicht. Mal gucken. Ich habe auf jeden Fall einiges vor. Gucken wir mal. Aber ich wünsche euch jetzt allen eine gute Nacht. Schlaft schön. Vielen lieben Dank, dass ihr dabei gewesen seid. Und dann sage ich mal, bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao, ciao. Und bis dann.